Hello everyone, and today is a strange and I don't know what other word to describe it. It's kind of a depressing day, I guess, but I am pretty sure I'm going to be getting rid of both of these printers. I'm going to be selling them because they just don't really, I don't have the time to sit here and mess with both of them. They both need work, but I just don't have the time with the various projects and trying to get my life on track and that sort of stuff. I don't have the time to sit here and fiddle with all these stupid little things, and especially the V3 here. I've just gotten fed up with this thing, and yeah. Who can say where the road goes? So I'm hoping to sell these two and hopefully get into something else. I don't know what else I can buy because I'm sure I'm not going to get a whole lot for these, probably $100 maximum, hopefully each. I just wanted to take some time and reflect on these machines and why I bought them and then why I am getting rid of them. So let's start with the V2 here. This one has not been on the channel very much because when I started 3D printing stuff, it was with the V3, and then it moved to the Flash Forge, which then I quickly got rid of and returned, and then with the Bamboo Lab P1P, because it just got things done so much more efficiently when I actually wanted to do things. But this was my very first 3D printer I ever had. I think I actually had a BIQU, I believe. I actually had their kind of knockoff of the Ender 3 V2, but it already had the bed leveling sensor and stuff. But that didn't work when we first got it, which we might have made a mistake there, you know, looking back. But yeah, this was my very first printer that I've had for over, I think, 5 years now. And a year of that was actually off time because I got fed up with 3D printing because this thing just kept having things break on it. There is not heavy modification, just some a couple quality of life things, and then other things that needed to be replaced, like my arm, my extruder arm or whatever, the little clamper that starts the Bowden setup, that lever literally snapped, it broke. So now it has a metal one on it. Or at least a stiffer one. I don't know if it's exactly metal. I'd think it would be. They painted it silver, at least, if it's not metal. I have the Capricorn tube, because everyone said you have to have the Capricorn tube when I first started 3D printing. I put a BL Touch on there because I wanted to make it easier, get better results, that sort of stuff. Because there were tons of videos talking about that when I first started as well. And generally, that's all of the modifications that I've done to it. Other than the firmware, of course, too, but yeah. So I'm not keeping this printer anymore, which is hard for me to kind of let go of, because I just can't get it to perform really at all, personally, and I can't figure out what I need to do with it. But that was also with the G10 bed. So if I put a texture build plate on it, it'd probably work fine. I put the stock glass build plate on it, but unfortunately the stock bed clips also don't work because of the thin magnetic sheet that I put on there when I also switched to PEI textured flexible build plates, because that's all anyone would talk about then, except for they were a lot crappier back then, especially when they were made by Ender, or made by Creality, and those are included in my bundle here that I'm going to be doing, but they are heavily worn because they were just not very good, but also a few mistakes on my part, but I think it was mostly, honestly, the build plate. So yeah, this thing served me decently for a long while, and one day I decided I wanted to try and start my own music equipment business, and I was trying to think of ways that I could start to make capital a little easier for my skill sets and whatever. And so one thing that I thought about experimenting with was 3D printed guitar picks, and people have told me time and time again that's stupid, but if you do it right, it can work pretty well. And I was getting really close to getting perfect results with this machine, but then there was always a blob or something somewhere, and it just couldn't print it right. So that's when I finally decided I was going to try and buy a new printer. I also had another idea, which I wanted dual color printing for, so that's why I got the IDEX Flash Forge printer, which wasn't very great, at least for $600 freaking. And the P1P had just came down to $600, so then that was cool, you know, and so I had just enough to be able to get that, even though the freaking shipping also costed a little bit, you know, like $30 or something like that. But then that one couldn't do the picks right either, so then I bought this one because this one had its slicer based on Cura, which is what I needed to use to get the really good quality on my guitar picks. So, you know, I got this and it was working okay when I first got it, and then I tried using my G10 build plate and it just absolutely killed itself. It just literally wouldn't print. I think I got better results towards the beginning, and then it just got worse and worse from there. I haven't tried printing things with this printer using the textured build plate. I just don't care enough to anymore. So I'm still looking for a 3D printer that will be at least somewhat reliable, but also is able to use Cura. But it also should be something popular, so that I can have, you know, support help me and stuff like that. I don't know. What I've been thinking about trying to get is the Elegoo Neptune 3 Pro, because that'll be around the price point that I will get from selling these printers, assuming that things go properly. I don't plan to go with an Elegoo Neptune 4 because I've seen a few more complaints about those compared to the Neptune 3s, and the Neptune 3 just seems to be a more stable thing, and also the Neptune 4s apparently have a proprietary nozzle. So that's, you know, other stuff. I don't know what else to say, because I'm frustrated that I have to sell these machines. And I'm especially frustrated that, of course, I'm not going to get very much for them. But they're just not worth keeping around here, because they just aren't worth the money that they costed. The Ender 3 V2 maybe, but that's also from lots of community development and aftermarket parts. The Ender 3 V3 SE is just kind of bad, if you ask me. It might be a decent first printer. I don't know if I said this earlier, if you just want to try and get into the novelty of 3D printing, because you can print knickknacks and stuff with the texture build plate, but this printer relies heavily on a textured build plate. So if you want to use anything smoother, it just doesn't work. At least in my experience, but I also was a semi-early adopter of this printer, which is the only reason why people watched my videos compared to any of the others. Yeah, so today's a frustrating day. Yesterday I decided, I was like, I really think I should sell them. And today I really went ahead and started cleaning them off and trying to get them set up to be listed on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm not even sure if they are going to sell. That's the other thing. So, I've been having a rough week, a rough month generally, so things are just not looking great in general, but oh well. I'll put some affiliate links in the description to some generally good 3D printing stuff, some filaments, and some other tools that I use. So if you want to help and support me, consider buying something from down below. You don't even have to buy exactly what's been linked. You can just use the link and then move over to something else, and I will still get a commission, especially if it's more expensive. There was some guy, I think, that ordered like an $800 like rifle scope after clicking on one of my links. And so I got a hefty commission of like, you know, $20 or something like that from that. But yeah, so this is normally a 3D printing channel, normally a music channel as well. I do whatever I want as well. So if that sounds good, please consider subscribing. This isn't a great first video to be watching because it's not very upbeat, and I'm very melancholy about this whole situation. But yeah, so that's all I have to say for now. So I'm gonna say bye-bye.